Did you want waffles?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to stream. I am here to host and also do content. Hello. Junie, introduce yourself to the people that don't know who you is.
That was a dumb bit where I pretend my mic was muted, but it's not.
This is dumb bit where I pretended I could hear you, but I could not because you were not talking.
Yeah, you saw that. We pretended to have technical difficulties.
Same page, brother.
Content. We're good at this. It's morning. It's one of those mornings,
Welcome
everybody.
to show.
I'm relying on caffeine and drugs to get here, but I'm here. I'm here, y'all.
If there's one thing you can guarantee about Warlocks and Waffles, is that we are a drug-fueled morning show. Those drugs are ADHD medicine, but is still okay.
Legal, doctor prescribed,
Doctor prescribed, safe,
yes.
Absolutely required for our
we don't
brains.
condone unnecessary, like very much needed, but edgy as fuck. Hey, everybody.
Did I don't know if I told you.
Nope, never did.
I had a one of the times when I went to pick up my med from Rite Aid. I picked it up and I get the bottle, and the bottle has this fun little warning on it. It's just this big red warning that says, "Caution, opioid, risk of overdose and addiction."
Oh, I wish I'd have seen those. I've never seen that label.
Adderall's not an opioid, as far as I know.
It's if it's not counted that, it's in that same category where it's like my other medication, like it's just a normal. They don't need the doctor to like give me permission. This is one whenever I need to get it refilled, the doctor has to like sign off each time, and that's like that category.
Correct,
that's how I.
But it's an amphetamine, not an opioid. So
No,
the fact
I see
that
what you're
it
saying.
very
Yeah.
specifically says caution, opioid.
They were not about to print out another sticker. They were like,
they absolutely were like, well, we have this bottle already.
This is the same thing.
Like,
it's the same thing. Just
they're the same thing. This idiot doesn't know the difference. And I'm like, you don't understand. This isn't an opioid. This is an amphetamine. They're absolutely different categories of drug.
Amphetamine.
Where are the other drugs going? Welcome to Warlocks and Waffles, a drug-fueled, edgy morning show.
We're so fucking edgy, yo. We are like, Hunter, name something edgy you did this weekend. Go.
I went the entire weekend without...
Damn, the entire weekend.
Without... I don't know. Nothing. I didn't do anything edgy. At first I was like, I didn't eat breakfast, but I did. I was like, I went the whole weekend without going outside, but I did actually go outside. We went for a lovely drive. I was like,
Just a drive.
yeah, I was like, because originally we were like, oh, we'll go to like the park and go for a walk or something like that. But my leg has been really hurting me. So we decided not to go for a walk. But I was like, I do want to get out of the house, especially because like um I'm in the house all day,
Yeah.
every day. And we only have the one car right now. So like, there's a lot of nights where, Grace has like an event or, she tutors some kids and stuff like that. And so, she is out of the house quite often. And then I'm just stuck at the house. And so I was like, I do want to get out of the house. And so we had just kind of like got in the car and we drove, and we just like did a little trip, and didn't go anywhere with like the intention of going anywhere. We were just like, I'm just going to drive in this direction. If you think of somewhere you want to go, let me know. And we ended up at the outlets out in Hershey. And
Okay.
Grace ran into the Nike outlet and the Old Navy outlet, and then got back in the car and we drove home.
That
um
that sounds lovely. That, that
oh, I've got something edgy.
okay.
Last night,
Uh-huh.
my dog shit himself, and the fur on his butt is so long that it's just all matted over his butt, so the shit
We've
couldn't
all
come out.
we've all
And I
we've all
had
been
to
there.
we gave him a bath, and then I had to take scissors and cut the fur around his butthole.
Cue the graphic.
Edgy.
We cut butt hair. Like it's just like
We
three
cut
lines. Like
butt hair. Bum ba
we
dum
cut.
bum 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 bum.
Yeah. You
Uh,
you say you just went for a drive, and I had two immediate reactions, right? And this isn't present day Junie. I sometimes
mhm.
think of like what me from another time would think or say about certain things. So poverty Junie, I'm not that far from that guy, but still, poverty Junie was like, motherfucker, gas is expensive. You just go for a drive with that. What? And then I was just like, Junie, it's not that crazy. He has hills. He just doesn't hit the gas. He just goes
Mhm.
down the hills. Uh, but the other thing is just like the one time I ever went for a drive,
Mhm.
I've only once in my life just said, I'm gonna go, no direction. It was, I think I dropped my ex off at an airport or something like that. I was feeling like, just like it was a nice day. I
Mhm.
had nowhere to be. I had gas in the tank. I was like, you know what? Gonna go in a direction. I know
Mhm.
generally the direction, and I can find my way back if I need to. It's not that crazy.
Mhm.
I go, and then I hear like like a crazy, like loud thing. My car is shaking, and the car next to me is like, one of my tires exploded.
Oh my god.
Like, just like, like crazy,
Yeah.
whatever. I didn't swerve crazy, but,
Yeah.
like, then I had to go off to the side. And, uh, and I'm like, and I've changed my tire before,
Mhm.
not crazy. But just if not that day before, that week, my mom or somebody needed the jack from my car.
Oh
So
no.
I didn't have the jack in my car,
Yeah.
and I had to call my mother to bring me the jack in my car. Now there was two things wrong with this. One, I was by this point anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes away from her.
Mhm.
And two, I didn't know exactly where I knew where I was. I was on the
Right.
Black Horse Pike or something like I wasn't
Yeah.
like
You had a
an
vague
idea.
idea, but
Yeah.
you didn't have like an exact location.
Yeah, I'm here. It's like I had to go like I'm like if you go on the Black Horse Pike like for whatever I'm before something else I think
Right.
and I had to kind of send whatever.
I've passed this place and I haven't hit this place yet.
Yeah. And I think I like Google wasn't as advanced, but like I could still go
Mhm.
like here I am like send location. Um but I couldn't like my phone wasn't at 100%.
Mhm.
So I could charge it, but then I was like, I'm leaving my car on. I don't know
Mhm.
how long till my mom gets it. She was very thoroughly pissed off at me. Um, so I just have all these like, why would you go outside like that? Like, just drive. So many bad things can happen to you.
Mhm.
So many people can get angry at you. It's like all these things that just stick to me. I'm so traumatized.
So, like we
I'm a
said, we're an edgy morning
edgy as
show.
hell. You know why I take these drugs. You know it.
We take care of our pets and also get upset when people are upset at us. Edgy. Welcome to the show, y'all.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We are a TTRPG morning show.
Oh man. Also, I just noticed that Rosie put in the chat adding it to the doc, and I have no idea what we said that got added to the doc, and I'm terrified to find out. For anybody
Are you
who
gonna play
doesn't
the? Are you
know,
gonna play the thing? Because it makes me like now. I'm just like, oh, well, now it's not just a doc. There's gonna be a
oh yeah, I'm
soundboard thanks
also
to Hunter.
I'm compiling sound bits now. There's one sound in particular that is just so fun. It's just such a good sound. It just makes Junie seem so great.
Yep. I have to think my brain. Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
the long pause that just
This is the
kills me.
pause. Yep. Use
Oh
pauses,
man,
y'all. Use
it's
pauses
great.
will
Comedic
add to
effects.
any and just like in general in life. Hunter, could you like
Yeah.
introduce yourself? Just like say, hi, my name is first name, last name. You know what I mean? Just like
Hello,
how would you say?
my name is Hunter
Mhm.
Fell, and
Okay.
I am here.
Here's a trick I learned. Pause
Hmm.
between your first and last name. There's a difference between saying like, "Hello, my name is Junie Ruiz," and difference between "Hello, my name is Junie Ruiz," and there's kind of that pause, and people will make that. They don't have to like think about what it is. It's like they chew on each thing.
Hmm.
So free tip for everybody. Pause between your first and last name when you introduce yourself to people. It will
Alternatively,
make people listen.
take the James Bond approach and just be like, "Hello, my name
Repeat
is
yourself.
Fell, Hunter Fell." Um,
That's good too.
Junie,
You still did the pause though. Yes.
what are we doing? What are we doing today?
All right. Well, all right.
What are we talking about? What are we doing?
All right. I did the thing. I did the thing again where I let some things get backed up a little bit. There were some requests that were for you, and the first one was like, oh, yeah, I'll put it on there, and then I checked the box again, and there was a few more, and then I added.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I gotta talk to him about that, and then I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few character modification requests
Okay.
that are in for you that are need your approval. Uh, and this is just for you to approve, deny, or pitch a compromise or how
Mm-hmm.
we can do it. For those that have played D&D or TTRPGs and you've been playing a character that you're not thrilled with, happy with, you've fallen out of love with, sometimes you want to change that character up a little bit. Um, or sometimes you want a new character. Me
It
personally, I know I
happens.
try to like I try to pitch a change because then it's
Mm-hmm.
like I still want to be this person, but like I want to play them differently. Or you find out like the way I play is more like this.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm using things like this. It's more of a wizard instead of a sorcerer. Could I like make that pivot type of thing? So we have some character changes that they wanna pivot. Some are easier than others, some are more straightforward, but it's
Mm.
all whether or not Hunter okays it or how you would work it in. Um, I'm very fast and loose in my games, so I kind of we either just like we don't talk about it, we just let things ride,
Mm-hmm.
or I have to find some sort of like, all right, this is how we make it happen type of thing. But every table is different, so whether or not you would even allow it, no, you have to be a new guy. That's up to you. But the first one is Hunter. You know our edgy rogue.
Yeah.
He would like to be an edgy horror druid.
Horror druid.
Yes, he still wants the dark, scary assassin look,
Mm-hmm.
but he wants it to be more of like a nightmare druid.
Mm.
Like imagine almost like a what's the kind of skull you always see in the desert where it's like with the horns and
Yeah, like a wildebeest type thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
like a big old mask like that, but a druid. So
I
yeah,
like that.
that's the pivot he wants to make. Not so much getting
Oh
up in there
man.
and sneak attacking. More like edgy. Still edgy. Not doesn't want to lose that. So the wardrobe might not change too much, but they definitely want to go druid.
Yeah. Oh man. I love that concept. Oh. Hmm. I mean, I'm definitely on board.
Hmm.
I mean, my first instinct is like, yeah, I mean, you can absolutely like go druid. Like we can find a story beat to make that happen. My Without putting like a whole lot of thought into it, my immediate kind of thought pattern would be to have there be some sort of like dark nature magic that
Hmm.
they are sent to investigate, or like a corrupted druid's grove or something like that. And
Mm.
then as part of that, that magic kind of like latches onto him and starts like infusing itself into him, and then he becomes uh more druid. And then over a course of like several sessions, we could have him lose levels in rogue and gain levels in druid as it
Oh,
like absorbed and changed his abilities. So he's like playing the same character, but it would be a character that's sort of
okay.
like being uh altered by this like corrupted nature magic. As far as being like a creepy druid, a horror druid, I think there's two different ways that uh that we could move forward with that. There would be like just you're a druid, and like and what creatures you turn into is up to you, so like choose like more creepy or intense animals. um like we could go that direction. uh if we went that way, I would probably recommend like Circle of Spores maybe. And that also
Mm.
gives you some like zombie type abilities that you could lean into and stuff like that. The other direction would be if we wanted to fully like homebrew something out and be like, this is uh the druid subclass that is more in tune with like monstrosities as opposed to like beasts.
Mm.
And saying that they are a able to change into these kind of like eldritch infused creatures of like a knot deer, if you're familiar with a knot deer. um
I'm not, but
so a
I can
knot
assume.
deer is um like in horror, it's a like a
Okay.
deer where you're like,
Okay.
that's not a deer.
I got you.
Like it's
That
there
yeah, that's rough.
something's just a little off, where we just turn up the uncanny valley a little bit on all of the creatures that they turn into. We could
Mm.
also lean a little bit more into the like necrotic energy of it and be like, it's just a regular druid, like choose whatever you like, whatever type of druid you want to turn into. But whatever creature you turn into is like kind of zombie-ish. So it's like
Mhm.
I turn into a bear, but it's a like kind of rotted and skeletal and has like the jaws detached and stuff like that. And we flavor stuff a little bit more necrosis ridden.
I love it. I'm sure they will too. And that's fair, I think. I this first example is personal to me because I've had this request, but I had to accommodate it. Uh, the session was going,
Oh, a
initiative started.
mid-session request.
It was teenagers. It was a library game, so it
Yeah,
was one of those like it's everything's kind of like a one shot type of
yeah.
thing. But we had been playing for a long time. He's just like, "Oh, I want to be a druid now. Can I be a druid now?" And I was like, You're just a druid now?" He's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Uh." And so I had like these platforms, and I was
Mhm.
just like, all right, you stand on that thing and you see green energy shoot up, and you just feel
Mhm.
one with nature
Yeah.
and less with the night. And that's
Yeah.
how I had that's just how I had to flavor it, where it was like almost like his DNA was changed, like, and then all of a sudden he was a druid because he'd already done all the stuff. And I was like gonna be like, no, use that old character sheet, dig it
Yeah.
up, or
Yeah.
delete everything. No, you can't have fun. Um, but I would do like the story way, but I like the way of the way you said, like, over time you lose levels and you gain levels type of thing.
Mhm.
That's fun. I like that.
I'm always down for characters that want to change. If there
Hmm.
are like I want to play something different, I'm always down for it.
Let's make it make sense in
I
some way, shape, or
Yeah,
form.
I
Yeah.
always
So.
will prefer tying it to some sort of story beat because then it just doesn't
Hmm.
feel as disjointed and random. The one
Hmm.
exception to that would be if we're like we played the first session and you're like, hey,
Hmm.
like this isn't
Yeah.
exactly what I was looking for. I thought it was going to be a little bit different. Then we can just kind of change stuff
Mm.
for the second one. But the
Yeah.
if it's been a little while, like I'd prefer to tie it to story beats.
When it's like below level 3, I usually just go like, you that probably hasn't come up enough, or like
Hmm.
that you want to switch this 2 and this 1, like you want to switch your proficiency from animal handling to nature. It
Yeah.
That extra 1 or 2 is not going to be something where it's gonna, oh, you wouldn't have been able to kick open that door. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so
Right.
uh, I usually, those things, I'm like, whatever. Yeah, yeah, I don't care. Um,
Even something as simple as like somebody starting as a warlock and or starting as a sorcerer or something like that and then being like,
mhm,
actually I think I'd rather just be a wizard. Like
yeah,
even that at those real low levels, those first couple of
yeah,
sessions, like there's not a
mhm,
ton of difference between them.
yeah.
It's easy enough to hand wave it.
Okay. All right, approved. The next one is the dumb muscle barbarian.
Hmm.
He wants. All right, this is the full wording. A wizard. No, not just any wizard, but a cool one.
Mm.
They want to be a cool wizard. Um, Now you know the situation. They
Hmm.
are not smart
Hmm.
at the moment. Uh, what would be your route for this? They they they're not in the middle of anything, so it's not gonna
Hmm.
be like he gains intelligence mid dragon fight.
Hmm.
But it will be a change. It will be a
Yeah.
dramatic enough change. So, what would you say? I For
Uh,
me, it's just the specification that they want to be cool.
right.
Very subjective.
Yeah. Um, Well, there are enough like there are enough nerd wizards out there. Like it is time that we get some cool ones in there. Um
Hmm.
I think my question for the player at that point would be are they wanting to still be like in melee combat? Or are they looking to like fully kind of respec themselves and be like a classic wizard. If they're looking to like kind of stay in combat and still want to do like their regular fighter stuff, or their barbarian stuff, I might recommend moving to something like an Eldritch Knight fighter or a paladin or something like that that gives them some magic casting and stuff like that, but still keeps them in the combat of things. Or if they want to like lean even more magic over that frontline combat, maybe a hexblade warlock. If they want to go full wizard, I think it's spell singer or something like that. I would have to pull it up. But there's a wizard subclass. Let me see if I can
Like,
find it
you're not
real
talking about
quick.
war magic, are you?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
This
okay.
is a
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
um
I think this is part of it, is they want to, one, still be as like, whether or not the stat is the same. I still think they want to be jacked, and then like wear like wizard clothes with the sleeves cut
blade
off.
singing.
Blade singing. There we go. I think they
Um,
just want to wear the wizard things, but like with the sleeves cut off.
okay,
And
yeah.
then I think they also would like to cast fireball and just basically make explosions so that they can walk away from them. I think
Mhm,
this is the main thing here. Um, so it's kind of like a dumb reason, but you everything you said was very like made sense and all that. I
mhm.
think this is more of like, it'd be cool if I just like blew things up and walked away from it. Can I be a wizard now? Um, so
Well, then I think we could either move into, like, going forward, we're gonna like, as you level up, take levels in wizard, and, like, get some of that magic. Uh, I think my impulse, and it's probably an impulse that I would regret later, would be saying, "Okay, yeah, let's do a wizard." But,
mhm,
like, you are only allowed to take, evocation spells. Like, you're only
mm,
allowed to take that, like,
okay.
sheer destructive energy. And, your casting stat will be Constitution instead of
Oh dear God.
Intelligence.
That's smart. I would have been like, if you want it right now and you don't want to whatever for it, like it would have just
Mhm,
been like, all right, you're running with that 8.
mhm.
Like you better hope nothing has a DC and whatever. Uh I have you ever done a muscle wizard?
I have done a muscle wizard. I have
I
a
I
I
love muscle wizards.
I don't know how, like, chronically online you are. Are you familiar with the online, like, meme of, my cousin Throckmorton?
No.
There's
No,
a
I'm
there's
not.
an there's an there's this, like, meme of, somebody who I forget how it originated, but somebody was, like, talking about their cousin Throckmorton, who could, like, totally shred, and is just, like, a skateboard dude.
Okay.
So I've always thought that was so funny. You obviously are familiar with, like, Leroy Jenkins.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I have an NPC in my world whose name is Leroy Throckmorton Jenkins, who is, his class is Party Wizard. And he is, like, frat bro, like, shows up and is wearing, like, like, just a tank top and, like, these baggy, like, hammer pants and, like, massive, just brightly colored shoes. He's got the, like, floppy wizard hat, but it's, like, just absolutely, like, broed out all over the place. Whereas, the like rave glasses that have, like, the bars across them.
The visor shades, yeah,
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 yeah.
he wears those. Yeah,
I
he's
have
just
I
a
have
he's just a
almost
party wizard.
verbatim I have almost verbatim described this party wizard, also labeling them as a party wizard,
Mhm.
and I'm wondering, like, is this just, like, a trope that people like, I feel like, I players have probably done this, but, like, have other GMs gone like, "This is a party wizard," like, full blown, like,
I feel
I've
like it's
described them as
such
like,
a
"Hey,
it's
they're a."
such a fun one to do,
Mhm.
right? Like, it's such a fun trope to play with. Like, I've absolutely known other GMs who had a party wizard,
A party wizard,
somewhere in
yeah.
their game.
Definitely, like, flavored things like dancing lights and other things as, like,
Mhm.
rave lights and things like that, yeah. Um,
I'm trying
alright,
to I
so
know I know I built that wizard on, D&D Beyond at one point. I'm trying to find
they're
them to
not
send it to
gonna
you.
the barbarian's not gonna understand the mechanics of all that stuff, but as long as you tell him he could walk away from explosions, I'm sure that that's fine. Alright, so ordered. The next one, we have the classic, sword and shield fighter. Um, this one's pretty straightforward, seems really easy, real cut and dry. He would like to be a warlock.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
He just is
Heck,
just literally
yeah.
warlock.
Let's find him a patron and, we'll spec him as Hexblade.
Okay,
Easy.
find him a patron. So is it he looks around for a patron? Is it because the thing is, it's one thing when like an entity like this like finds you, discovers you,
Yeah.
has destined whatever it is. Um, he's very adamant, and it's
Mhm.
almost like he's making the character very, very adamant.
Mhm.
Um, but I have always gotten the vibe he's always been very picky in the shops and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Um, it's almost like he wants to shop around for a warlock.
Interesting.
Almost like if an eldritch otherworldly being was just like, "I can promise you power beyond," it's just like, "But what are the benefits?"
Oh my
And then kinda
goodness.
go like, "Oh, no, thanks." And then he almost like in not like you going like, "Hey, do you wanna be a hexblade? Do you wanna be a this? What kind
No,
of patron do we do?"
I
No, he, like, I think in character wants to
wants the
reject like a
yeah.
dragon, and
He
goes
wants
just
to
like,
meet
I don't know."
the potential patron. Like
He
we'll
wants to
spec him
interview
as a hexblade, but like he wants to interview the
he wants
actual
yeah,
patrons.
yeah. So he left it
I
open as like
love that.
warlock, but I think that the other part of it will be the part where it
Oh,
becomes a an issue.
I'm on board. Here's what we do. We introduce him to a new NPC,
Mhm.
who is a warlock agent,
Okay.
who will shop him around to potential patrons, who will then give offers of like yeah I will kind of like Shark Tank, of like yeah I will I'll give you the warlock pact you're asking for in exchange for your immortal soul, or I'll do it in exchange for A, B, and C, stuff like that. And then over the next few
Mhm.
sessions after he has like signed the contract with this like agent to start shopping it around,
Mhm.
well the party is like in combat or like doing things, they will just occasionally see just like a scrying eye appear and just be like
Mhm.
watching them while they're doing it, as
Okay.
these potential patrons are like looking in to see like what is this person, what is this
Uh,
like, and then
you
he can
didn't
go interview him.
I don't know if you said this one before. I don't know if I had this conversation with you or somebody, but I feel like I've had a conversation with somebody about like a essentially a warlock where their their soul contract or something like that gets like bounced around. Not like they keep making deals,
Hmm.
but something about essentially like because of a role or something like that, they have to roll like who they're what type of patron they have now. And
Mm,
it's kind of like it's their 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 soul was bought up by a conglomerate, like a
right.
shit, like
Like a when
a
people
timeshare.
buy debt like and just buy all of the
Exactly.
debt
So
up,
it's like,
yeah.
it's like it was like a D12, and then it's kind of like, all right, my patron's an eldritch patron
Hmm.
right now. Um, and so I've seen like things where it's like a rotating patron. I kind of like the idea of an agency,
Hmm.
because it's kind of like imagine not these all powerful beings. Like it's not
Hmm.
Asmodeus, it's not literally Cthulhu, it's not literally like the most elder dragon. It's like patrons that are just powerful enough to be warlock patrons,
Hmm.
but they don't have notoriety and they don't have
Oh
like the
man,
means or the charisma probably to
I
get people on their side.
I could see building an entire campaign
Mhm.
around like a group of first level characters
Mhm.
that are all becoming warlocks, and it's like and the agent could be like a little like imp or gremlin or something like that, that's just like
Mhm.
they're not powerful enough to be a warlock patron, but they
Mhm.
get like a like the signing bonus essentially
Yeah.
of like the finder's fee of you aren't their patron, you don't have access to their soul, but like you get 10%, you get 10% of their soul
Mhm.
in exchange for like
But
for
it's like
finding
a
them for these
talent,
other
but
patrons.
imagine it like a talent agency, right?
Hmm.
Where it's kinda like, all right, so, there's an archfey. He's looking for someone, and it's kind of like it's like a part dating, part like
Hmm.
staffing agency situation where it's just like,
Well,
you decide whether or
it'd
not
be
you,
very much like a talent agency of like a
yeah,
This show would like you to come in and audition, and then you audition, and then they offer you the if they offer you the position, then you get to decide if you want to take it.
Yeah, it's
um
very unique where you can like really you have a lot of say in this. It's not like,
mhm.
you know, you just get it, you made that deal. So they're kind of like, "Oh, we
I
do like him.
love
We
that.
want him." And then it's kind of, you know, the
Yeah.
warlock is like, "You know what? I just wasn't feeling it. I felt real gross. Like I didn't like how every time I cast spells there was slime everywhere. Just didn't
Mhm.
like it. So, I'm going to pass." And that patron is just not powerful enough to like exert dominance or authority where it's just kind of
Yeah.
like,
I
you know,
love the
so
concept of it being a
uh
like this agent working with people who are like new to the
mhm.
warlock game. Like
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they this is I remember them when they were just an imp. Like
Mhm.
they've
Yeah.
rose through the ranks, and now they're a Baylor. Like they've come so far, and they're looking for their first grouping of warlocks.
So
I love the concept of doing it as a full campaign kind of built around that as the initial hook as well, because you could absolutely have it be something where the party is auditioning for different patrons,
mhm.
but then like they're auditioning together, but they could like split up. They could be like one of them is like, oh, actually no, I do like this setup.
Mhm.
Like I do like the way this plays out, and the rest of the party be like, we're gonna keep going. But that one person now has their warlock abilities. Um, I like that a lot.
All right. So we'll you know, it's a yes, but then it's like we got to go through the process of making the dating profiles essentially, and then
Oh, but
letting them
that's
shop
that's so
around.
much fun though. I
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
do
yeah.
that over a weekend. That's a great time.
Okay. So cool beans. Next we have our deadpan cleric. Part deadpan,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just kind of easy because this is the way they are as people. But
Mm-hmm.
they want to be a saucy bard.
Mm.
Now, when it for a while, we always thought that the deadpan, act for the cleric was just like, you know, part of, like, the character.
Mm-hmm.
This person is just deadpan.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, even in putting this in, it really sounds like saucy is going to be like, you know how, like, sometimes when, you say something or do something and the role you're like, "Hey, how is that even whatever?" But the role justifies it. This is gonna be
Mm-hmm.
one of those things where it'll be like, "Hey, don't worry, I'll take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, you're beautiful, and I would like you to go home with me." I
Yeah.
rolled a 23, and then it's one of those things where it's just like, "Whoa, they're
Yeah.
so charming," and it's like, "What?"
This
I'm not.
definitely feels like a
He can't
situation of
pull it
like
off. He can't
they're
pull it off, but this is what he wants. So,
and to me this feels like a situation of uh easily flavoring it of like there's just something about him. Like he's
mhm,
just like I know he's like not doing like he's not saying a whole lot, but like he's that strong silent type.
yeah,
Like
yep, yep, yep.
there's
There's
enough
oozing it.
ways to play it that like I don't think that's a problem. And I think that if they are wanting to step outside of their normal comfort zone of playing something that they have described as specifically being saucy, um I personally want to see it. Like I want to see where they go with that. So yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
just I almost went the route of like, it's like a bard, like, you know how, like, wizards have component pouches?
Mhm.
And, it's like, oh, spells require components, and you either use a wand or a component pouch, and that's how you use all that stuff. It just
Mhm.
gives you the wing of a bat and blah blah blah. Um, it's like, all right, bard artistic expression. The artistic expression is your components, unless you want to make it that you're a weird bard art, like bard, like component thing, and like the sauce is
I
your art, and then he just has like a component pouch of sauces.
I feel like
So he's like a saucy bard.
it's really opening itself for me up to be a like a spoken word or slam poet
Ooh.
sort of bard of like
Okay.
I if they are a kind of like very straight edge, like very deadpan sort of
Mhm.
player, um I could see the like strong silent tortured artist vibe working very well for them,
Ooh.
of like they don't say much, but their eyes speak 1,000 words. Like
My God.
they just kind of like walk in and they're like, hi, I'm
One
here.
hand, one hand clapping, bluebirds fly backwards. Everybody's like,
uh
shit.
I think this would also be do you ever have a friend in your friend group who is like um really really bad at the social element of things, but is
Mhm.
like so great, and you're just like, I just want them to find somebody that makes them happy,
Yep.
if that's what they're looking for, and
Yeah.
then you're out at bars or stuff with them and just wingmanning the shit out of them.
Oh,
um
1000%. Yeah.
I could 100% see this being a situation of the whole party lends to the charisma of this person, because
Mhm.
like they're not super social. They're not wanting to have these like long conversations or anything like that. But the party is hyping this person up so much that it just
Oh, yeah.
like their persuasion bonus is not from their actual ability to talk. It is from the party like hyping them up
Yep.
to the person they're talking to.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I love that because it makes everybody feel involved and,
Hmm.
like, explains the bonus still. Yep.
Yeah. It also immediately gets the party involved in like social checks,
Mhm.
as opposed to having the bard be the only one that talks. Because there's a lot of times where the bard in your group ends up being just the person
The
that does
face,
all the
yeah.
talking every time.
Mhm.
And like sometimes having a face to your party is a good thing. Like sometimes having
Yeah.
like one person that kind of directs it is a good thing. Other times it gets frustrating
It
when
gets
it's
old
like,
real fast, yeah.
I don't want to be in charge of talking to every NPC.
Mhm.
And if you're in the party and you're never engaging in those social interactions, you're going to get tuned out pretty quick. But if you just canonically make it that the persuasion skills of this person is due to everybody being involved, then you can just go, okay, that person's
Mhm.
gonna roll, but like everyone is involved in this conversation and you're like hyping them up. Which I think immediately is just a very fun energy for a bard to be bringing into a party.
I agree. Yeah. Alright, I think they'll be okay with this. Let me know if you hear children's music now in the background.
Very
Uh,
faint, it's not a big deal.
oh, okay. I'll notch back my gain just a smidge. But real quick, because I can't unthink of saucy bard,
Mhm.
and using like literal sauces as components. I'm
I'm
just gonna
so
I'm
glad
gonna
you're circling back to it, because when
yeah, because I
you said
yeah
it and I moved on and then understood what you had said after
yeah.
I had moved
Hmm.
on and then forgot.
I'm just
Um
gonna name some bard spells real quick, and I just
yes,
want you to tell me what you think the sauce component would be.
so on
True
board with
strike.
this.
This is just not exclusive to bard, but just like these are no screw it. Vicious mockery.
Ooh.
What sauce? I think I know what it would be. This
Vicious
is I have
mockery is like my brain immediately went to hot sauces, but it could be any sauce. Um
horseradish.
Horseradish is very good.
Mhm.
Um
That's where I went.
uh I could see it being like a Worcestershire sauce where it's like, this isn't a sauce. What is this? Yeah, I I think I think you nailed it with horseradish though. Like that is a very strong contender.
Uh,
Um, there's so many sauces though. I would have so much fun as a player, just like looking at spells I wanted to
Yep.
take and then
And then
trying to think of the equivalent. Oh man.
animal friendship, honey.
Yeah, easy.
Charm person, also honey. Uh, disguise self. Hmm. What's a sauce that just disguises the flavor of something?
Sriracha.
Hmm. Okay.
And
Yeah.
anything with sriracha is gonna taste a little bit like
Mm-hmm.
sriracha.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Earth tremor. What's something that would make somebody go to the bathroom? There. That. Oh. What's healing word? Uh.
also honey, weirdly.
Yes. Yes. Heroism. Heroism. I don't want to say ranch, but like,
Yeah. Ranch, but
you
like a
know,
good like homemade restaurant ranch, like the
sure.
like if you
Yeah.
like a pizzeria that has like really good ranch for their like
Hmm.
salads. That's the sort of like that stuff
Silent
is
image.
great.
Silent image is like light mayonnaise, like just
Mm.
low fat, like
Or
mayo.
like an extra virgin olive oil.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Unseen servant, that's definitely a vinaigrette of some sort.
Mhm.
Uh, cloud of daggers, wasabi.
Ooh.
Uh,
Yes.
right, right. All right, one more, last one. Suggestion,
Ooh. Just a hint of a
suggestion.
flavor, right? Um
Yeah, like. Oh, that has a little bit of
Ooh, what is
sesame
that?
seed oil. Like I don't know,
Like a light honey mustard? Of just like a
maybe.
little
You know
or
what?
like
Hell
a
yeah. No, because honey's already been the component of a lot of those things,
mhm.
so a honey mustard would be like it's a suggestion, it's
Yeah,
that
it's
little bit
just
of
like a
sweetness, but
little
it's got a little
what is
something
that?
extra to it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good. We could spend a
We could do a whole episode talking
whole
about
episode on just that.
sauce-based sauce-based magic.
We're only at 4. I got a whole list, everybody. So we're gonna fly through this next one.
Yeah, let's do
We're
it.
gonna rapid fire do it in like less than 2 minutes. The
Write
Elf
write
Ranger.
down write down sauce magic for a later episode though, because we're
Uh,
returning to this.
1,000,000%. I'm gonna write down sauce magic. Um, this next one we're going to get through it in less than 2 minutes.
Okay,
The Elf Ranger doesn't want to be an elf no more.
easy. We kill him and then we reincarnate.
They still want to be them.
That's fine. We kill him and then
Okay.
we reincarnate.
Okay.
They're still them, different race.
Okay. All
Easy.
right then. Okay.
We're like, hey, I'm gonna put you into they're decently high level. I'll just say, hey, I'm gonna put you into a fight with a beholder. You're gonna get disintegrated. But like the cleric in the party is very involved with the temple. They've done a lot of good like they've been very into the role playing of like their connection to the temple and stuff. So they donate like gold to the temple every time they're in town and stuff like that. They'll go to that temple, they'll get them reincarnated. We'll bring them back as something else.
Okay.
Easy.
Uh, Sweet Rosie B said, heroism is buttermilk ranch.
For sure.
I'm here
100%.
for it. I'm here for it. Um, all right, cool. All right, easy. This next one, I think we just have to base our knowledge of what we think this guy wants because we know who this person is.
Mhm.
The Warforged
I'm
just
sorry.
says,
Just
mhm,
while I'm
yeah,
thinking on it, for any of you out there who are playing a cleric or a paladin or something like that, talk with your GM about
hmm
how you can invest into the temple that you are involved in. I have had players that are like, oh, anytime like we go through a city, if there is a temple to my god, I am like contributing a decent amount of gold from their travels to that temple every time. It is just part of their role play into it. Because of that, if there is ever a situation where like they need a powerful healing thing or they need like some powerful cleric magic that they don't have access to, I can almost always make sure that that is given to them.
hmm
because they've been investing into it. The temple already has that connection to them, especially if your group has a home base that they
Mm,
are based out of, and there is a temple to that god in that city. Like that, the cleric or paladin or monk or whatever, even if it's not like a divine class, if it's like the barbarian is very religious, anything like that.
mm.
Um,
Yeah,
if
any
you're
class
a
can be, yeah.
GM, give your players a reason to invest into a temple and invest into the gods, and then give them a reason by having the temple and the gods invest back into them through that, and just make it a like it. There's no downside to ensuring that your party is more likely to invest back into the world around them, because there are a lot of GMs that are like, well, I don't want to alleviate the threat of danger. It's like that's not what this is. This is if one person went down, if two people went down, and like they have to take those people and transport them back to this village, like as long as there are people alive, they can help bring back other people, which helps ensure that you don't hit a situation where characters that the players were very attached to are just gone, which can cause frustration in a party. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So no,
Continue.
no, solid, solid. I feel like we accidentally nailed this next one
Okay.
without doing it. It's just the saucy bard. It's circling back to the saucy bard.
Mm-hmm.
Wants to be saucier, but also a Goliath and very veiny. Um,
Mm.
so I feel like just I think the sauce can be like some sort of juice that makes
Yeah.
them bigger.
Ooh, like Bane.
Bane, exactly.
But
Yeah,
oh,
that's yeah.
it's like Bane, but as opposed to Bane has the stuff that like makes him like big and
Mm-hmm.
muscular. He was already a barbarian, so he was already big and muscular. And
Mm-hmm.
now the it's just like arcane juice that just like pumps through him and makes him
Gross. Yes.
bigger. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That is a condiment caster. Damn, that's good. Uh
Unrelated, but in the Baldur's Gate 3 run that Grace and I are doing right now,
mhm.
the other night I got stuck in the in the Bane voice as we were doing it, of just like "Ah!" uh and so now that is the voice of my character, and he's a gnome, so I made him like he's a oh, what are a deep gnome. He's a deep
Mhm.
gnome, so he has like dark, like gray-ish skin.
Mm.
So that I gave him the face paint that is like the white, like
Okay. Yeah.
hourglass on his face, and I made that white, and then put red makeup around his eyes, so it looks like the Bane mask. And I renamed him Lil Bane. Um, so he just
That's
walks
good.
around, and I just talk in the Bane voice all session.
Uh this is something where it's a product of like either just childhood like nostalgia or
Hmm.
this is what I chose to latch onto. If you ever watch any of the Batman or Justice League animated stuff or movies,
Hmm.
Bane is like Latino.
Yeah, yeah.
Bane is like Antonio, but so when you were like
He's
the
a
Bane voice,
a luchador. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So it's just like when you were like, I did the Bane voice, and I just imagine you was just like, Grace, we must
yeah,
go kill these
yeah.
goblins. Roar. I am
I am
angry.
Bane.
I am
Um,
Bane, and I will break your back with my knee.
yeah, no, I do the Tom Hardy
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Batman
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Returns,
Well, I think
uh,
that's what I think
but then
most people
also
think of or do now. Yeah.
the Harley Quinn animated show
Hmm.
also does that kind
The
of
Spanish one
no,
or the Tom Hardy
the
one.
Tom
Oh,
Hardy
okay,
one also does that one. I
okay.
love Bane to death in that show though, because
I've been
he's
wanting to watch that, and I just
oh
haven't
dude, it's
for
so
so
good.
long.
There's one episode, I forget the exact line, but they're like, somebody says like, that's just my opinion or something like that, and Bane's like, I'll blow up your opinion. And it's just I love
I'll
him
blow up
so
your
much.
opinion.
His, his whole character is so good.
Okay. Uh, cool. Rapid fire. Did I don't know if I already said this one. Did I already say this one?
I won't know until you
Did I?
say it this time.
The Warforge just says that he. I
Absolutely
didn't
have
touch on the
not.
other one. Okay, okay. He just says that he wants to be a transformer.
Okay. Yes.
So it's not exactly a class change
Is
necessarily.
he a new player or has he been playing for a
Uh,
bit?
he's been playing for a bit.
What's his
But the
class?
thing, that's the part that like I'm not 100% on because I feel like this is one of those things that if we okay, that
Hmm.
it can be very easily exploited.
Hmm.
So it's one of those like, all right, they have to pick a vehicle, but that means do they
Oh,
get a
see,
vehicle? Are they
my
transforming?
my
Are they,
brain immediately goes I'm not a Transformers kid, so I didn't watch it.
oh,
But
all right.
Transformers, I think Primal, is that what it's called? Where they're like
Beast
animals?
Wars.
Beast
Beast
Wars.
Wars, yeah. Hmm.
Just go Warforged Druid, and they like and
Yeah,
just
the
change
transformations are
into
like real horrifying. Oh my god. Actually, that's funny.
just a
That's
Warforged
exactly
Druid
how
who
that would go.
just becomes like a gorilla.
No, but like a Warforged druid, like because whenever people think of like a druid, it's always like they're morphing or magically
Yeah.
whatever. They're not like, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
like what is it? The cheetah. I do I have one within arm's reach? I think I might have a transformer toy within arm's reach somewhere. Um,
At any given moment, Junie has at least one Transformer and one Power Ranger artifact within hand's reach.
It's literally probably on the other side of the screen, son of a. Okay. Anyway, uh yeah, but it's like its arms do this
Hmm.
and fold back and its head is always their head's always tucked in their chest or something like
Yeah,
that. And I'm just like that is a nightmare to witness like, well, they're robots, so it's not going to be as crazy,
I love it.
but like if you
That's
were
fit.
like
Yeah.
if you were like a human that turned into like you had to robo transform and it
Hmm.
was like organy and it was like, "Ugh, oh man." Okay.
just a
Yeah.
regular, just a regular human druid who, when they want to wild shape into like a bear, they like their chest pops open and then their head rotates down into their chest, and there's just organs and limbs and stuff. That'd be horrifying.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
that'd be rough.
I
Uh,
love the a Warforged druid though. It's that's fun.
okay. This next one, the clumsy wizard lizard wants to be a cool cat rogue.
When you say cool cat, do you mean like legitimately a cat or
I would
just is
assume that's the only reason I put their race because that's I wasn't sure if they just want to be
so
like they want to
they're
increase
currently a lizard folk.
the clumsy wizard lizard. They want to be a cool cat rogue.
Okay. Hmm. So they're looking for race class
Personality change. They're looking
personality
for a few
change.
things. Yeah.
Hmm. I I think it's an opportunity to have lycanthropes
Mm.
in the game. And we have them run into a like a were tiger or something like that that
Oh.
infects them.
Okay.
So they become a were tiger. Um, Alternatively, you could give them um uh some sort of situation where they are because they're a wizard currently, right?
I'm sorry. What?
They're currently a wizard.
No, they are a lizard. They are a wizard. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, wizard lizard. Yes, they are a wizard lizard.
So yes.
Yes, I apologize. Sorry.
um the if they're a wizard, you could give them a like a spell book or something like that,
Hmm.
where they find a spell book in some like forgotten wizard lab or something, and it has the majority of a ritual fleshed out on a page, where
Hmm.
they like the wizard was clearly trying to finish crafting some ritual, and the wizard can try and like finish the ritual, but then they're clumsy and they're not as skilled, and so they don't get it quite right, and it transforms them.
That's
um
good. That's good. It seals away
the
their magic. They can't use it. Like
Yeah,
that's why they. Yeah.
they their magic gets absorbed
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
spell book, and
Classic.
they lose it.
Classic. You did an oops, and now
Yeah.
you can't go back. Yep.
Hmm.
All right. All right. That works. I think they'll be down for it. And I'm gonna make this one the last one,
Ooh,
because
make it a
what?
part of a larger story.
Mhm.
The it was a like tabaxi wizard who was cursed to no longer have access to magic, that their body could no longer utilize magic. And so the spell is actually that it swaps bodies with the person who casts it. So
Oh,
when
that's
the
funny.
lizard wizard finishes the spell, he takes the body of the
Tabaxi.
tabaxi, and the tabaxi gets the body of the lizard. So now the tabaxi, the person who was originally the tabaxi, has access to magic again. And like
Oh, wow.
is this like evil mage and goes off to like start their plans again. But because they didn't have magic, they had to learn other skills, so they had become a rogue.
Mm.
And so their body is still like trained, like has all the muscle
Ah,
memory
yeah, yeah,
of
yeah,
being
yeah.
a rogue. So you can justify the like, not only do you like you lose your magic, but you gain all these levels in rogue.
That's good. And it also, I imagine, like, that could be like, they messed up or whatever it was that originally made it, that the swap, whatever. But
Hmm.
imagine, like, if they were a big bad, or they whatever,
Hmm.
and another party, another group of heroes,
Hmm.
this was their solution to stop this evil wizard,
Hmm.
right? And so now you're a bad guy because you done
Right.
gave that wizard magic again.
Right.
You
Well,
suck.
and also it's a recognizable bad guy in some
Oh
areas.
yeah. It's
So if
like,
you
oh
walk
look, there
into a
he
town,
is.
like, that's the evil wizard that like turned my wife into a
It's
frog.
it's Razorflax. Get him. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this one the last one.
Okay.
This person just wants some Aarakocra bird options.
Oh man.
Now, I think this is 1,000,000% one of those players that, depending on what you say,
Hmm.
they will abuse it,
Yeah.
because they might go, "Oh, pterodactyls are technically birds."
Hmm.
So, depending on what you say,
I had somebody
they
once
will
argue with
they
me that a T-Rex is technically more closely related to a chicken, which is a bird, than it is
mm,
to like a lizard, and thus it should be
an
allowed that they
Aarakocra
can play
option.
an Aarakocra or a T-Rex.
That's just a dragonborn that can't do
That's what I
fire and
said.
has, yeah.
Um, okay, so
This
they
is like
want.
that. I told you that I had a teen the other day that was just like, "I'm a human. I'm definitely not a dinosaur," and they kept saying that like that, and I was like, and then I looked at her and I said like, "Hey, look, just like between like out loud to everybody, I was like, just be like, are you a dinosaur?" She's like, "No,
Mhm.
no, no, I'm not,"
I'm
and I was like,
definitely
"Okay," and
not.
then yeah, and then she showed the picture of her, and it was just a brontosaurus wearing a tunic. Like, it was literally like it was a dinosaur. Like, she had a full freaking dinosaur on her page, and it's just like, "'Cause this is what I look like." And I was like, "You are a freaking dinosaur!" Like, 'cause she's like, "Can I fit in the cave? Like, how big is the mouth?" And I was like, "You are
Yeah,
not a literal brontosaurus. You
yeah,
can go in. If you want to make a compromise, you're a centaur stat block. We'll give you a centaur stat block
yeah.
to make things weird, but you are not that big. No."
That's so freaking
But
funny
she
though.
kept saying, like, "I'm definitely not a dinosaur," and I'm like,
You
are
had
you a
told me
dinosaur?"
that you had told me that story, but you hadn't told me
Oh, that she drew it out?
the
Yeah,
part
it
that
was like
you were a
it was a
literal
brontosaur
brontosaurus in a
it
trench
was a
coat.
little brontosaurus. No, no, it was like a tunic and,
Hmm.
like adventurer clothes and a
Hmm.
mustache.
That's so
It was like
good.
a fake I'm human. I am a
I
human, like that.
I had a NPC in one of my games. My players were, I might actually have an image of it. I do. Here, I'll send it to you. Um,
Quickly, though,
yeah,
Aarakocra bird options, though.
Uh, but I had a party that was investigating they were trying to prevent the assassination of like one of the emperor's kids at their wedding. And so they had been like
Okay,
brought in as security. And so they're like moving around this like beach resort trying to prevent this assassination. And like trying to
okay.
find anybody suspicious. And there's a Goliath wearing like full armor with a weapon on on their back and like this very fake looking mustache.
Oh, that's funny.
And they like went over and started asking him questions. He's like, "Hello, my name is Mike Normal Man," and then
Mike, normal man.
handed them a business card, and it said assassin, and then assassin was crossed off, and it said business things. Um,
Business thing.
yeah, and so
Oh my god.
they attacked him, and then the mustache came off, and the mustache was like it made you look different, and so it was just this like normal person that was just like trying to be inconspicuous at this beach resort. But yeah, it was very funny. I enjoyed it. Um,
Business stuff.
business things, yeah. Mike Normal Man.
That's
Okay.
so freaking good.
Aarakocra bird options.
Aarakocra bird options, correct? Yes.
So, have they chose a class yet? To me
Uh,
that
uh,
makes a difference.
no, I think this is like they want to know what their options are.
Sure.
And like I said, I feel like this is where it's going to get ultra abused.
Sure.
Um,
I
so
think if you are playing an Aarakocra, you should choose the bird type that you are playing based on the kind of personality and the like choices you've made as a character. So like you could be something like a robin, a blue jay, a sparrow, like something like that. You could also go with like a bird of prey, like a falcon, a hawk, an eagle. The a spoonbill, as Rosie has said
a
in the chat.
roseate spoonbill,
A
yes.
spoonbill is a great one. I had a player in a game that was a pheasant.
I've done a
Aarakocra.
penguin. That was
Penguin
fun.
Aarakocra is a blast.
Sacrificing my
Your
flight.
fly
I don't think
speed.
we ever talked about it, but like
Hmm.
I should have definitely had a swim speed, but it never came up.
Yeah,
But like I definitely sacrificed fly speed for the sake
yeah.
of like laughter.
The one of my favorites. I have a NPC in my world who is a chaos being, and they are they take the form of an Aarakocra, but they have a very long neck, kind of like an ostrich, and
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I could see an ostrich being like
ostrich would be
abused.
so funny. Um,
Yeah,
like I would absolutely be like, hey, if you want to play an Aarakocra, but you want to give up your like flight, I will give you
for increased
like
movement.
increased movement and like a kick attack that you can do or something like that.
Hmm.
Um,
They would also like. Well, I guess you could. There still be a medium creature, but I guess you would
mhm.
go argue like the whole
You're tall.
like you're Goliath height.
Yeah,
You know, what I mean,
yeah.
you have the build of like a human, but
Regular
you have a
humanoid
Goliath
body,
height.
but then you
Yeah,
have a really long neck.
yeah. So that's what brings it to like a bugbear, a Goliath height, a
Hmm.
Luxodon. You know, they're all big, but they're all still medium creatures.
Um,
So it's like, yeah, it's bringing it up there. I think a kick would
Pelican
be
is
good.
very, very fun.
That's gonna be
Um,
one of those things where it's I can see it. Hey,
Hi.
hey. Oh my gosh. Oh, she's all about it today. She wakes up proportionally with the amount of energy that I don't have. So on the mornings where I'm just like, God, and she's like, let's do some wiggle dancing. Um,
I
Anywho,
love a pelican. I think a pelican is very
yep, they
fun.
say hi.
I can absolutely see a pelican being abused though, by like putting stuff into your like your mouth,
Hmm.
and just kind of holding them there. There are ways that it could be abused. I think pelicans a lot of fun. Um, I think penguins a lot of fun. Any
Can my bill be a bag of holding?
I'm I'm a Pelican Aarakocra artificer, and I've used one of my magical infusions to make my mouth a bag of holding.
Oh my
Um,
god. I mean, I would allow it. Like it's like one of those things where it's just like, oh, I put the bag of holding in under my tongue,
mhm,
and it's just like when I lift up my tongue, I lift up the flap, and so
mhm.
like I store things in my mouth. That's pretty nuts. It
I
just
would
looks like you
imagine
always
a pelican. A pelican Aarakocra with a mouth that's a bag of holding, and they have to learn how to eat past a bag of holding because they're slowly starving to death because the food just keeps falling into the bag of holding. Um,
Oh man.
yeah, I mean any bird is on the table as far as I'm concerned for an Aarakocra. Um, the to me, there's because you said right off the bat that like it has the potential to be abused.
Yeah.
What do you envision being abused by the flavor of changing it to a different bird? Because
I
I'm
see
always on
something.
board for a like, hey, I want to reskin this thing as this thing, or I want to change up my like m- I don't really want this thing. This thing doesn't like factor into my build.
Mhm.
Would you be willing to do this other thing or something like
This
that?
is how I picture this is the first thing I if like I imagine a player going like, "Can I be an owl?" And I was like,
Hmm.
"Well, there's like an owl people." And I was like, "No, can I just like be an Aarakocra but like be an owl?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Sure, right?"
Right.
And then they would go just like, "Oh, I didn't tell you that I'm a northern white-faced owl."
Hmm.
Have you if you Google transforming owl, there's an owl, right? That looks
Hmm.
like a normal like the thickness of regular body of an owl, right? And then apparently depending on what type of intimidation it needs to do,
Hmm.
it will change its posture. So if it
Hmm.
needs to I don't know what the logic is again, but it turns sideways
Hmm.
and then gets really thin and becomes Batman. And it
Hmm.
narrows its eyes and it becomes like thin. And
That's
it
cool.
makes its wing to you like a cape and it always keeps a wing to you like that, right?
Hmm.
Or if it's like you're bigger or something like that,
Yeah.
then it fluffs itself up and becomes like a crazy
Hmm.
like turkey peacock nightmare owl.
See,
So
I
it's like I
read.
imagine like immediate it's like, "Oh, so I have advantage on intimidation checks, I think." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me?" And I can kinda change my size a little bit. It's like, "Okay, hold on a second. You said owl. You
Right.
did not give me all these properties." So I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of like I know that that owl has that, right? But I was like,
So
"Oh, can I be like a falcon?" Yeah, it's like, "Oh, well, I'm a peregrine falcon, so I'm the
right.
fastest thing on the planet." It's like,
The I think this is a good opportunity to bring up that like if you want to do something with your character, um,
mhm.
run it by the GM. The GM
Don't hide it.
should
Yes.
never be finding out that you are able to do
Correct.
something for the first time when
Mhm.
you do it.
Correct.
Like if you want to do something that is not innately a part of your like race or class or background or something like that,
Correct.
you
Yes.
need to have a conversation with your GM about it. I had a GM
Yeah,
reach out
no,
to me
I
recently
always
about
have that.
a situation that came up where their player had done this whole build using like homebrew rules and like optional
Mhm,
rules and stuff like that. And when the GM was like, "Hey, what like why do you have all of
mhm,
this stuff?" The player got upset that like, well, the GM never told them that they couldn't do those things. And it's like it's not the
mhm,
GM's job to tell you all the things you can't do. It is
mhm.
your job to ask for like, am I able to do this thing? And then
Correct.
if the GM says no, like if it's really important to you, you can always be like, hey, like this is really important to me. Is there anything that I can do to kind of like offset it to make it work out? I will say I did an entire study on owls during in school. And like
Okay.
I read all of the Guardians of Gahul books growing up.
Okay.
So like I love owls. If somebody came to me and was like, "Hey, I want to play as a an Aarakocra that's a great gray owl," and like I know that the great gray is like an insanely powerful attack with its claws. Like
Mhm,
it has been being attacked by a great gray if they like swoop down and attack you. Has been described as being hit with a 2x4 with nails sticking out of it and somebody just swinging
Oh.
it like a baseball bat at you.
Oh my god.
The
Oh.
or like a barn owl has like in one of the best hearing capabilities of the like owl kingdom. They are incredible at hearing, and there's all of these different like elements to different owls. If somebody came to me and was like,
Yeah,
"Hey, I've done my research about this thing and I would like to be able to do this," it may not be an immediate yes, but it's absolutely, if you've done the
correct.
research on
Yeah,
it, especially if it's rooted in like fact of like this is
correct.
a thing that the creatures have. Um is it reasonable to assume that my, like, as a creature that, like, inherits a lot of traits from that, that I would also have that? Um, I've had players come to me and play like a Loxodon and be like, I know a lot about elephants. I've researched a lot about elephants. Like I want to go through some of the stuff I know about elephants with you and see if any of it could be applied to game mechanics. The or like a lizard folk. Elliot is currently playing a lizard folk who is very like very alligator coded, and like
Mm.
we've talked through some of the like what does that look like. There's a lot of like there's a lot of creatures out there in D&D that are like very animal coded, and if you are if a player is willing to do the research and then bring that research to me and be like, hey, here is like facts about the thing,
Mhm.
is any of this something that I can utilize? Um, I'm always down for those conversations. Those are fun conversations for me. And especially if you are like in if you think of something in a session, just ask. Like I've had players that are like, "Hey, I see A, B, and C on my sheet.
Mhm.
Can I use those together to do D?" Uh
Want that?
and
Yep.
like
Mhm.
yeah, let's make it happen. That's awesome. Like I
Mhm.
want to play in this space with you. Um it's only when a player is like I do this thing and it's like, wait, how? Like how are you doing that thing? And they're like, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
here's some obscure lore about animals." And it's like, "Well, now I
Mhm.
either have to just like trust you and say yes, that's a thing that you can do, I guess, or I have
Mhm.
to like stop the game and
And
Google
like, yeah, you're
that
slowing down the game.
animal
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Or it's something that we are now going to have like a back and forth like discussion on, or argument depending on the situation, to see
Mhm.
like if I'm going to allow it, if you're going to accept it, if I'm not. Like I've had players at my table who absolutely did not accept a ruling, and I'm like, hey, I understand that. If you want to have a conversation after the game about like how you think it should go and stuff, I'm happy to hang out and have that conversation after the game. Um, in this moment, we're going to continue going this direction. I think there's a lot of players and GMs who are uncomfortable just setting it aside for the time being and then returning
Mhm.
to it at a later
They
time.
they they hyper focus on it. It's like
Yeah,
I can't work with unknowns. I
right.
can't let this go. I need to know right now. No,
Right.
I understand. Yeah.
And sometimes I'll let it happen in the moment and be like, "Hey, I'll let it go. Like we can do it that way this time. But like I want to really think on it and decide if that's something that I want to have available to you, like going forward.
Let's workshop it. Let's talk.
But
Yeah.
I like the creativity. Like we'll use it right now, and then we'll decide later if it's going to be something you have access to in the future."
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, there's a variety of ways you can go about it. But there's a lot of GMs and players that just don't communicate with each other. They don't like talk through
Yeah.
things, and I'm like, it is a communal storytelling game. Like
It's
if you
collaborative.
are
That's the whole
yeah,
thing. Yeah. Mhm.
if you want to do something cool, I want you to do something cool. Every time I hear a player be like, "Oh, we've beaten Hunter," I'm like, I want you to win. Like I'm on your side.
Oh, I always
if
encourage that. I'm always like, "Come on, I want you to like try it. Like try to,"
yeah,
because it's always
well,
funny when Junie gets angry and whatever. Yeah,
100%.
but
And
like I'm rooting for everybody.
if
Yeah.
players foil me fully, like I'm absolutely going to be like, well, there's a long section of story that I guess we're not going to do because you just did this other thing.
Mhm.
Like I've absolutely had those moments, and the players feel very powerful in that
Mhm.
moment. Um, but if it's a situation of like uh you come up with a plan and it's a good plan and you like get around like not having to do a fight or like figure out a way to bypass stuff, like that's a win for everybody involved.
Yep.
I'm excited for you. Yeah, Rosie says there's no bigger ick than a player trying to be maliciously sneaky. uh
Yeah.
I never understand like trying to trying to get one over on the GM. Like I have players that don't have like in between sessions, they will have conversations in like a separate group where they're having
Mhm.
conversations about the game outside of the Discord chat. Um and I'm like, that's fine if you want to, but like I need, like, part of what I do is plan to be able to accommodate what you want
Yeah.
to do. I don't
Yeah.
change how I have things set up just because like you've bypassed it. I'm never going to be like, "Oh, you figured out a way to bypass 95% of my fights. I'm not going to switch how those fights are set up so that you now are encountering them."
I I I
Um
think it's like they want the surprise factor, like
mhm.
that, like, oh, like that shock from everybody,
Mhm.
including the GM.
Yeah.
They want you to witness it too. And it's like, okay, but you know, this like you're making things hard. You're slowing down
Right.
the pace. You're doing
Right.
all these things and it's like,
If you want that moment, that's fine, but like then you have to understand that when it happens, I'm going to need a little bit of time to like accommodate it, to be able to figure out how all of those moving pieces work together if they're not going to go the way that I had planned, which is always down for a rapid switch. The number of times that I have like just been so thankful for my improv background in a game because there's a, a drastic change. Um, it yeah, I'm down for whatever as long as the party is all like on the same wavelength.
okay. So we'll just tell this one person that they can't be a T-Rex. But I think
Yeah,
I think we got everything. There's 45 other ones, but like I said, I let them pile up. So we're gonna like stop
yeah, we
right
can
there.
we can do another one
Uh
sometime.
but like you're very generous. I would have said no to the transformer because it sounded like I would have been like, "Are you trying to transform into monsters?" It was just very like, I don't know what you're trying. I feel like you're
Right.
trying to do something here. They're all very problematic, troublesome players.
Uh,
I have to. Oh God, I have to deal with this one.
yeah, we can bounce.
Hunter, do you want to give me the? Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Uh, give us the calls to action
Yeah,
quickly.
I think the calls to action this week are very simple. If you have something that you want to do as a player, whether that is a change to your character, whether that is a path that you want to follow, a goal, anything like that. If there is something you want to do as a character, have a conversation with your GM, and let the GM get involved in that process for you because they can help make that better, and they can also make sure that they are planning accordingly to make sure that the game is ready to accommodate what you want to do. Even if that is if that is something where you're like, I don't want to play this character anymore, have a conversation with your GM because they can help transition that out. The second one, if you're doing stuff in a game, um I have recently had a couple of players that started doing like combo moves,
Oh, I love those.
where
Oh
they're
my
like,
God.
I want to do this thing with this other person. Like, what does that entail? My Thursday group was fighting rocks on the like massive giant birds. They were fighting rocks on the side of a mountain, and the one of the party members dimension doored with them and another player onto the back of one of the rocks.
Ooh.
And so I was like, you can absolutely do it. As soon as you land, you're gonna have to make dex saves to like grab on, and then you can like make your attacks onto the thing. And one of them made it, attacked, and the other one missed entirely and just started plummeting. It was awesome.
D-
Um,
did I ever tell you about the turtle that went through a gelatinous cube?
no.
It was a moment of like intense teamwork collaboration, where like they knew they needed to get on the other side of this gelatinous cube. It was
Mhm.
blocking the doorway, and so what they did was they, um, the turtle like went up. And I don't know if he held his action or like just bonus action or whatever, but he cast grease. That's what it was. He cast grease on the ground, right in
Okay.
front of the the gelatinous cube, and went
Yeah.
into his shell in front of it, right?
Okay.
And then it
Got
was their
pushed like
cleric
a
or their
shot put.
barbarian. No, their barbarian or their cleric. I think it was their cleric had a huge warhammer, and croquet like bashed him
Love that.
uh into like through the thing, and I was like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I just had the cleric roll to like trajectory, like can you get him
Hmm.
through, or is it like when you're playing croquet or pool, like did you just miss the shot, so did you
Yeah.
get him through the doorway, or you just bang them all over the place? And I let it work, and he was in his shell, he didn't really take damage. It was great, but like combo moves are so good.
I love a combo
um
move. Do
mhm.
do combo moves. Look at your other party members. See like what you can do with them. Do moves that involve the terrain around you.
Oof, yeah.
Like there's so much cool stuff that you can do. If you kind of think about it in a larger way. You don't have to do only what is on your character sheet. Last one. We've done two that are kind of player focused. We'll do a GM one. If you are a GM and your player comes to you with something and they're like, "Hey, I want to do this thing," your first instinct should be, "How can I make this work?"
Mhm.
The You don't need, like, don't shut players down whenever you are able to avoid it. um and if a player brings you something, try and figure out a way that you can involve it, try and figure out a way that you can bring it into the game and make it work. If you need to like offer a compromise or offer a different a different outcome, you can absolutely go back and forth with that, but try and find a way that you can make what your players are looking to do work, because it always will make the game better. And if something isn't working, like, have a conversation with your players about that thing, because there are entirely too many times where there is something that is like not working, or it's just breaking the game. The mechanics aren't working right, and the GM's like, "Hey, this needs to change," but they don't have that conversation with the player, and so then the player gets frustrated when it's just gone. Have the conversations with your players, have conversations with your GMs, have conversations with in between players and other players. Conversation is important. uh that I think that wraps us up for today. We will be back on Friday. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Until Friday, remember to embrace the nonsense, talk to your players, talk to your GMs. We'll see you then. Bye, y'all.